Smash that subscribe button, leave a comment if you dare, and hit like, because once you step inside this story, there's no way out. The body in cell block D. The alarm screamed through the concrete corridors at 2:17 a.m., a sound so sharp it felt like it cut the air in half. Red lights flooded the tiers of cell block D, bouncing off rusted bars and peeling paint. Inmates slammed their fists against steel doors, some shouting, others laughing, all of them feeding on chaos like it was oxygen. At the far end of the block, Officer Daniel Mercer stood frozen. The body lay twisted near the showers, half-shadowed, half-exposed under flickering fluorescent lights. The man's prison uniform was soaked dark at the chest, his eyes open, staring at nothing. A thin trail of blood ran across the cracked concrete floor, disappearing beneath a drain clogged with cigarette butts and hair. Mercer had worked prison for 12 years. He'd seen stabbings, overdoses, suicide staged that looked like accidents. But this felt different, because the man on the floor wasn't just another inmate. It was Victor Hale. And Victor Hale was never supposed to die. The prison was officially called Blackridge Penitentiary, but no one used that name. Guards called it the pit. Inmates called it the end. Tucked deep in a forgotten industrial zone, surrounded by razor wire and watchtowers, Blackridge held the kind of men other prisons couldn't control: gang leaders, contract killers, traffickers who still pulled strings from behind bars. People went in. Very few came out alive. Victor Hale had been one of the most protected inmates in the facility. Former financial mastermind for an international crime syndicate, Hale knew things: names, offshore accounts, political connections. He was 3 weeks away from being transferred to federal custody to testify in a sealed, high-profile case. Now he was dead on a prison floor, and someone wanted it that way. By dawn, the prison was locked down. No movement, no phone calls, no visits. Inmates were ordered face down on their bunks while tactical teams swept every inch of Blackridge. Detective Mara Kincaid arrived just after sunrise. She stood outside the gates, staring up at the watchtowers as they scanned her vehicle. Kincaid had handled organized crime cases across 3 states. She'd buried friends, ruined her sleep, and learned to trust almost no one. But even she felt a chill walking into Blackridge. The warden met her at the entrance. Thomas Greaves, mid-50s, crisp uniform, dead eyes. "Detective," he said, forcing a smile. "Unfortunate situation. An inmate about to testify in a major federal case is motored inside your most secure block," Kincaid replied. "That's not unfortunate. That's catastrophic." Greaves didn't argue. Inside cell block D, the smell hit first bleach, sweat, old metal, and something coppery underneath it all. Kincaid crouched beside Hale's body, studying the wounds. One clean puncture to the heart. No hesitation. No frenzy. "This wasn't a fight," she said quietly. "This was an execution." The medical examiner nodded. Weapon was homemade. Thin. Sharp. Designed for one strike. Kincaid stood and scanned the block. Cameras lined the ceiling. Guards posted every 20 feet. Locked cells. Controlled movement. Someone had killed Victor Hale in one of the most monitored environments on Earth, and walked away. Interviews began immediately. Inmate after inmate claimed ignorance. Some smirked. Some stayed silent. A few looked genuinely afraid. One name kept coming up, whispered more than spoken. Elias Crow. Crow was serving 2 life sentences for multiple homicides tied to a prison gang known as Iron Serpent. He wasn't just muscle. He was strategy, control. Rumors said Crow decided who lived and who didn't inside Blackridge. Kincaid reviewed his file. No recorded infractions in 6 months. No known conflicts with Hale. No reason, on paper, to want him dead. She didn't believe it. When she finally sat across from Crow in the interview room, he smiled like he'd been waiting. "Detective," he said calmly, "you look tired." "Victor Hale died 10 feet from your cell," Kincaid replied. "That doesn't bother you." Crow leaned back. "Men die here every week. You only care because this one mattered to people outside these walls." "Did you kill him?" Crow laughed softly. "If I did, you wouldn't be asking." He leaned forward, lowering his voice. "You're looking in the wrong direction." By the second day, pressure from outside agencies exploded. Federal investigators demanded answers. Politicians made calls. Media helicopters circled overhead, desperate for leaks. Inside Blackridge, tension turned poisonous. 2 inmates were found beaten in their cells. A guard reported a missing set of keys. Surveillance footage from the night of Hale's death had gaps exactly 7 minutes missing from the central server. An accident, the warden claimed. Kincaid didn't buy it. She pulled Mercer aside, the officer who found the body. "You hesitated," she said. "Why?" Mercer swallowed. "Because when I got there, the cameras were already off." Kincaid felt her stomach drop. "Already off?" "Yes. And that's not protocol." "Who was access?" Mercer looked down. "Only senior staff." That night, Kincaid stayed late, reviewing prison schematics in a dim office. Blackridge was a maze by design. Dead zones, blind corners, service tunnels beneath the cell blocks used for maintenance, and occasionally discreet movement. One tunnel caught her attention. It ran beneath cell block D and led to an old, sealed storage area marked restricted. Records showed it hadn't been opened in years. According to the logs, with a borrowed flashlight and a single escort, Kincaid followed the tunnel. The air grew colder. Damp. The walls were etched with old scratches, names, dates, tally marks. The storage door stood at the end, locked, except the lock was broken. Inside, the beam of a flashlight swept across stacked crates and dust-covered shelves. Then it stopped. On the wall, a symbol carved deep into the concrete. A serpent coiled around a key. The iron serpent's mark. Below it sat a small metal table. On the table was a manila envelope, stained and creased. Inside were photocopied documents. Victor Hale's testimony, full names, dates, payments, and a single handwritten note scrawled across the top. He was never going to leave. Kincaid stared at the words, her pulse hammering. Because Hale hadn't been silenced by inmates, he'd been silenced by the system meant to protect him. And as she turned to leave, she realized something else. The storage door slowly creaked shut behind her, locked from the outside, and someone was standing in the dark, the lock that should not exist. The darkness inside the storage room felt deliberate, as if it had been waiting. Detective Mara Kincaid pressed a shoulder against the steel door. It did not move. The lock had been engaged from the outside, clean and final. Her escort was gone. No footsteps, no voices. Just a low hum of the prison ventilation system, breathing through the walls like something alive. She reached for her radio. Static answered her. Someone wanted her alone. A faint sound drifted from the far corner of the room. Slow, measured, shoes on concrete. Kincaid turned her flashlight toward the noise. A figure stood just beyond the beam, hands visible, posture relaxed. Officer Daniel Mercer stepped into the light, his face pale but composed. "You should not be down here," he said. "You locked me in," Kincaid replied. Her voice stayed steady, though her heart was pounding. "Why?" Mercer hesitated. That pause told her everything. "They said you would keep digging," he said quietly. "They said you would not listen." "Who is they?" Mercer looked past her, as if the walls themselves were listening. People who had been running this place longer than any inmate. Before she could respond, alarms blared above them. Not the full lockdown siren. Something more contained. Controlled. Mercer stepped aside and unlocked the door. "You need to leave. Now." Kincaid did not move. Victor Hale was killed because he was about to testify against someone inside this prison. Someone with authority. Mercer met her eyes. "You are closer than you think." She walked past him without another word. By morning, the story inside Blackridge had changed. The official report claimed Victor Hale was killed during an inmate altercation. Surveillance failures were blamed on outdated equipment. The warden gave a brief statement to the press, his tone calm, reassuring, convincing. Kincaid watched it from a monitor in the administrative wing, her jaw tight. Federal agents arrived by noon, demanding access to Hale's files. They were told the documents had been misplaced during the lockdown. Misplaced? Kincaid knew what that meant. She requested access to the prison staff roster for the night of the murder. One name stood out immediately: Deputy Warden Alan Pike. Pike was a career corrections administrator with a spotless record and deep political connections. He also had final approval authority over surveillance, maintenance, and inmate movement. And according to the logs, he had personally authorized a systems reset at 2:10 in the morning, 7 minutes before Victor Hale died. Inside the cell blocks, tension had turned to fear. Inmates whispered about Hale's death like it was a warning. Someone had broken the unspoken rule. If a man under federal protection could be erased, no one was untouchable. Elias Crow felt it too. Back in his cell, Crow studied the corridor through narrowed eyes. 2 Iron Serpent members had vanished overnight. No transfer records. No disciplinary notes. They were gone. That meant one thing: cleanup. When Crow was summoned for another interview, he did not resist. Kincaid noticed the change immediately. The confidence was still there, but now it was sharpened by urgency. "You found it, did you not?" Crow asked. "The tunnel," Kincaid replied. "The documents, the symbol." Crow nodded. "Then you know Hale was never the target." "Explain." "Hale was leverage," Crow said. "The real threat was what he could expose. This prison is not just a cage. It is a marketplace." "For what?" "Protection, silence, access." Crow leaned closer. "Some of the men running Blackridge are worth more on the inside than they ever were on the outside." Kincaid felt the pieces locking together in her mind. "An Iron Serpent." Crow smiled without humor. "We are the muscle, always have been. But muscle does not choose a target. Someone else pulled the trigger." "Who?" Crow's smile faded. "That is where it gets dangerous, detective." That night, Kincaid returned to her temporary office to find her files disturbed. Drawers open. Papers shifted. One folder was missing. Mercer's personnel file. She confronted him near the staff lockers. "You warned me to stop digging," she said. "Now my files are disappearing." Mercer looked exhausted. "I did not take anything." "Then who did?" He lowered his voice. "You are not safe here. None of us are." Before she could press him, a shout echoed from the far end of the corridor. An inmate had collapsed in cell block C. By the time medical staff arrived, he was dead. Cause of death was ruled a heart attack. Kincaid knew better. The man had been one of Hale's former associates. Another loose end tied off. The following morning, Deputy Warden Pike requested a private meeting. His office was immaculate. Framed commendations lined the walls. A flag stood perfectly pressed in the corner. "I respect your work," Pike said, pouring coffee, "but your presence here is complicating matters." "Victor Hale was murdered," Kincaid replied, "and you authorized a surveillance reset that allowed it to happen." Pike did not flinch. That reset was scheduled weeks in advance. Then why was it changed at the last minute? Pike set the coffee down. "Because I was instructed to." "By whom?" Pike smiled thinly. "By people you will never see in an interrogation room." Kincaid stood. "This prison is compromised. I am escalating this case." Pike's voice hardened. "Be careful. The truth can be dangerous when it threatens powerful interests." As she left his office, Kincaid felt the weight of eyes on her back. Late that evening, she received an anonymous message on her phone. A single line of text. "Check the old infirmary." Midnight. Against her better judgment, she went. The infirmary had been closed for years, its equipment outdated, its holes dark. Inside one of the examination rooms, she found Elias Crow waiting. "You should not be here," she said. Crow shrugged. "Neither should you." He slid a small object across the table. "A keycard. Pike keeps a private records room beneath administrative." Crow said, "Not on any official map. Hale knew about it. That is why he was killed." "Why are you helping me?" Crow's eyes hardened. "Because if they can erase him, they can erase anyone, including me." Before Kincaid could respond, alarms erupted again. This time, full lockdown. Crow stood. "You are out of time." Guards flooded the corridor outside. Crow was gone through a rear exit, vanishing like smoke. Kincaid clutched the keycard and ran. She reached the administrative wing just as power flickered. The hidden records room was exactly where Crow said it would be. Inside, Rows of servers hummed softly. She accessed the files. Payments, names, offshore accounts, and a familiar name appeared again and again. Thomas Greaves, the warden. As she copied the data, footsteps approached. The door opened. Greaves stood there, flanked by armed officers. "You really should have listened," he said calmly. Kincaid raised her hands, the evidence glowing on the screen behind her. Greaves smiled. Too late. And somewhere deep inside Blackridge, another cell door slammed shut. This time, it was Hayes, the prison that never lets go. The cell door closed with a sound that felt permanent. Not loud, not dramatic, just final. Detective Mara Kincaid stood in the narrow concrete space, her badge and phone gone, the air thick with the smell of old sweat and disinfectant. Across from her, the bars vibrated slightly as a lock settled into place. She had been inside hundreds of cells during her career, never from this side. Warden Thomas Greaves watched from the corridor, hands folded behind his back, calm as a man finishing paperwork. "You see," he said, "Blackridge survived because everyone plays their role. You were not supposed to be part of the story." "You killed Victor Hale," Kincaid said. "You ordered it." Greaves shook his head. "No, I allowed it." He turned and walked away, the guards following without a word. The lights dimmed. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time inside Blackridge bent in strange ways. From down the tier, voices drifted. Whispers, then silence. Kincaid sat on the bunk, replaying every decision that led her here. Hale had trusted the wrong system. She had underestimated how deep the rot went. Then she heard it. Footsteps. A shadow stopped outside her cell. Officer Daniel Mercer stepped into view. "You should not be here," he whispered. "Then why am I?" Kincaid asked. Mercer unlocked the food slot and slid something through. A folded piece of paper. "They are moving fast," he said. "The files you copied are being wiped. Federal oversight is being delayed. By the time anyone asks questions, you will be officially listed as an internal investigation detainee." "Detained for what?" Mercer swallowed. "Interfering with prison operations. Endangering staff. Anything they need." Kincaid unfolded the paper. A crude map. Tunnels timings. "Why help me?" she asked. Mercer's voice cracked. "Because Victor Hale begged me to get him out. Because I told myself I was just following orders. And because if you disappear, this place wins forever." He glanced down the corridor. "You have one chance. When the night shift changes." The lights went out at exactly 1:45 a.m. Emergency power kicked in seconds later, but those seconds were enough. Mercer moved fast. Too fast for a man who was supposed to be scared. He opened the cell, handed Kincaid a guard jacket, and pushed her into the maintenance corridor. They moved through tunnels thick with dust and silence. Somewhere above them, men slept behind steel doors, unaware that the truth was trying to escape beneath their feet. They reached the old infirmary exit. The door was open. Too open. Mercer stopped. From the darkness stepped Elias Crow. "You are late," Crow said calmly. Mercer froze. "You said this path was clear." Crow smiled faintly. It was. Behind him, two Iron Serpent members emerged, blocking the corridor. Kincaid's heart sank. "You set this up." Crow met her eyes. "No, I adapted." "To what?" she demanded. "To survival," Crow replied. "You exposed Greaves. That destabilized the balance. Now someone else will take his place. Someone worse. This prison does not collapse. It evolves." Mercer shook his head. "You said you wanted this to end." Crow's smile vanished. "I wanted control." The Iron Serpent members moved. Then gunfire erupted. Mercer went down instantly, blood blooming across his uniform. Kincaid stumbled back as Crow raised a hand, stopping his men. "Do not kill her," Crow said. "Not yet." Sirens wailed above them. Crow leaned close. "You think freedom is the answer, but freedom is just another cell. This place taught me that." He stepped back into the darkness. The guards arrived seconds later. Kincaid was dragged away screaming Mercer's name. The official story broke within days. Victor Hale had died in a gang-related altercation. Officer Daniel Mercer was killed during an attempted inmate escape. Detective Mara Kincaid was released quietly, her case reassigned. Her findings deemed inconclusive due to corrupted evidence. Warden Thomas Greaves resigned for health reasons. Blackridge Penitentiary remained operational. The media moved on, but Kincaid did not. She leaked what she could. Partial files, anonymous tips, enough to raise questions, not enough to trigger action. The system absorbed it all, like it always did. Months passed. Then a body was found in a federal holding facility 3 states away. A former corrections administrator. Single puncture wound to the chest. No signs of struggle. Carved into the concrete wall near the body was a familiar symbol. A serpent coiled around a key. Authorities dismissed it as coincidence. Kincaid did not. She stared at the photo late into the night, realization settling like ice in her veins. Blackridge was never the most dangerous prison because of the inmates. It was dangerous because it trained men like Elias Crow to survive, adapt, and spread. The walls did not contain the threat. They refined it. And somewhere, behind new bars in a different facility, Crow was smiling, already planning the next move. Because prisons do not end stories. They only change the setting. If you think this was intense, you are not ready for the next one. Hit subscribe so you do not miss what comes next.